TestAS is required by some universities and it is confusing. By the end of this video, you will have clarity about what the TestAS is, how the test will look like, when you need it and which version of it, and how it can increase your chances of getting into a German university. So what is it? It is needed by many German universities as part of the admission process for undergraduate programs, so basically bachelor programs. Why is it needed? Because obviously every university is different and there are many different school systems in the world. So to make it easier to compare students from different nationalities, different countries, the TestAS is a standardized test that is the same to everyone. It is not about your personal motivation or maybe your characteristics, rather it is about cognitive skills, so how well you're able to solve different kinds of problems. What is the structure of the test? So you have a core test, which measures general cognitive abilities, and then a subject-specific module, which tests the skills that you need to be successful in a certain study degree. You can choose between humanities and cultural and social sciences, engineering, math and computer science and natural sciences, economics, medicine, and life sciences. So these are the different 6 modules you can have in addition to the core test. Exercises can look, for example, like this. You have 4 squares and you have to understand the rule by how they change from one to the next one. Then you have to select the correct options from below for the last 2 empty squares. In this case, we can see that the dot is moving up and down, so the next 2 squares would look like this. Now they become increasingly difficult. Here you can see that this L-shaped thing always moves up and down and rotates by 90 degrees counterclockwise. The triangle moves always 2 steps along the edge in a clockwise way. And it always changes the colors from yellow to green, from green to red, and from red to yellow. The diamond moves 1 step counterclockwise along the edges. And that was only one part of the core module, which is called figure sequences. There's also mathematical equations, where you have to calculate which value is represented by a letter, and Latin squares, which is like an easy Sudoku with letters instead of numbers. Each letter can only be once in each row and once in each column. So here the missing value is obviously B. However, they get also increasingly difficult. Comment if you want me to make a video on preparation with tips. Or even better, click on the first link in the video description and put your mail in there. I will probably include a module about the TestAS in the guide. What is the format and the logistics of the test? You can take the test either on paper or digital on your computer. So what is the difference and which one should you choose? The paper-based TestAS takes 110 minutes for the core test, followed by a 30-minute break and then another 150 minutes for the subject-specific module. The digital TestAS takes 90 minutes for the core test, followed by 30 minutes break and then another 90 minutes for the subject-specific module. Another difference is that you can only take the medicine and life science subject-specific module with the digital test. In the paper-based test, you will get paper where you can sort your thoughts. In the digital test, you're not allowed to take any notes at all. In both versions of the test, you will mostly get single choice questions, so you will have to select one answer out of possible options. Mostly it's 4 of them. You can take the test in either German or English, but pay attention here because to take the test, it is recommended to have a language level of at least a B1 in German or a B1 in English. Now, important is that you sign up plenty in advance. There are only several days a year when you can take the test actually. For the paper-based test, you need to sign up at least 5 weeks in advance. For the digital test, at least 1 week in advance. So make sure to not miss it. If you know you need to test anyway, I would personally suggest you to just take it as early as possible because it doesn't have any expiry date anyway. How about scoring and the results? 3 to 4 weeks after you have taken the test, you will get a certificate where it is written how well you scored. It is not about failing or passing the exam, you cannot fail the exam. It is only about how many points you get and how well you did compared to all other participants. You'll get a score that shows how many points you got. In addition, you will get a rank score that shows you how good you were compared to all other participants. So it shows that you were, for example, amongst the best 20% of participants. The score is important to the university and every university has different requirements. Some require you to be among the best 20%. Other universities require you to be among the top 30%. Others require you to have a certain point score. Some don't require anything. So you have to research it for each and every university separately. I'm sorry for that. Since it's confusing, I'm building a list where you can filter by university and then see whether it requires the TestAS, whether it's optional, and whether you need to take it in German or English and paper-based or digital, because this is also different for each and every university. If you're interested, click on the first link and drop your email. I don't know yet in which form I will publish the list, but you will be notified once it will be published. I'm trying to put in as much effort as possible to help you. So if you want to help me in doing that, I'd like to ask you some questions about the whole process of preparing to study in Germany. If you want to talk about it, then mention it in one of the text boxes that will appear once you click on I want the guide. Do you need TestAS? Does it increase your chances of getting into a German university? How important is it compared to grades? It depends on the university you want to apply for. So some universities require it, like the University of Cologne, for example. Some universities require you to have a specific score. Some want you to be amongst the top 30%. Others want you to be amongst the top 20%. Some other universities don't consider it at all, like the Technical University of Munich. It doesn't matter to them at all. And some other universities use it as a bonus that you can get to improve your admission chances. At the RWTH Aachen, for example, you can typically only get into the admission procedure if you have a grade that is at least a German 2.5 or better. However, with a good TestAS, you can still get into the admission procedure even if you have worse grades. Again, every university has their own rules. So again, if you're interested in this list and also some other information about studying in Germany, drop your email and leave a comment below this video so that I know that I should keep working on this. I'm rooting for you. Keep growing.